What is good, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing an all fruit showcase. Basically there's 35 fruits in Blox fruit, and those are different classes that give you different powers that you can use to aid you in fights. So this is only going to be part 1 of 3. I was going to make it 2 parts, but I realized that the clips are just way too long and this video would be over 30 minutes. Probably going to be over 30 minutes regardless, but basically this is a spin fruit. The first skill you unlock with it is you get it right off the bat. The moment you eat every fruit, you always get one ability right off the bat, or 2. First skill is that one, the Razor Wind. I think this is a pretty decent fruit. Third skill you unlock is Tornado Assault. You can't control it on console as far as I know, I've tried, but on PC you apparently can. And that's the first skill, Razor Wind. It's not bad for grinding early game, of course. It's mediocre to be honest, but once you hit second seed and third seed on, you don't want to use this fruit. Even in first seed, eventually, once you go like through half of the islands, you'd want to switch it for a better fruit. That's the second skill you unlock. It's called Helicopter Flight. That's the one you unlock right after you unlock Razor Wind. It goes by mastery, so automatically you get Razor Wind first, and then second you get Helicopter Flight, and then the third one is the Tornado Assault, which is that one right there you're seeing. The fourth skill, which is the final ability you unlock with this fruit, is the Spinning Bomber. I didn't feel like grinding it because I knew it was taking way too long and I was going to be there for hours of trying to get the final skill, so I'm just going to put a clip of another YouTuber who did a showcase on it, and boom bing bong, you guys want to check him out, go for it. He's already got it, and that's it for this fruit. Second up, we got Smoke Fruit. This fruit is one of my all-time favorite. Although the fly that it has in its kit is kind of slow, it does still hit while it's flying, and it's an infinite ability you can just infinitely use in the sky and kill enemies super easily, even bosses. As long as the bosses, as long as you don't stay too close to the bosses, they'll never kill you. Also, it's a fruit that comes with an I don't know what they call it, but some of the fruits, when you get hit, if they're a lower level than you, you won't take any damage at all. Or maybe it's specifically something else that causes it for you to be immune to damage. The spin fruit, you'll still take damage, but in some of the other fruits, when you get hit, it doesn't matter by how many enemies it is, you won't take any damage. And that's what this fruit does. It's one of the fruits that allow you to do that, which is really cool. Of course, if the enemies are a higher level, then it's not going to let you do it. You'll still take damage. But this works on normal monsters. It does not work on bosses. It only works on normal NPCs. If you fight a boss, you're always going to take the damage no matter what. But yeah, this is the second ability you unlock with the Smoke Bomber. It's my favorite. You just constantly fly around in the same spot above them, and you just throw bombs underneath you as you fly and soar through the sky. The first skill is a Smoke Slam. That's the one. Second skill is a Smoke Blast, which is just a projectile you shoot in front of you in whichever direction you're looking. And it does continuous tick damage, which is basically those weird little needles you saw back there. And then the final ability you unlock with it is just an ability that does an AoE around you. It makes the enemies fly around you. It's not bad. I think it's a solid early game grind fruit, and especially I think it's good throughout second seed and third seed, to be honest. Because with the flying skill in itself and every other ability does pretty decent damage. So I definitely recommend it, especially if you get it early, to grind it out. It's a good grind fruit for sure. You could even use it in PvP and it's not too bad. Alright, now we got the Sand One. The Sand One also has immunity to melee attacks. The first skill is Desert Sword. It covers a really large distance and it's pretty good. Second skill, it grabs one enemy specifically, just one, and it does AoE damage around them, around wherever it is that you put it. I recommend you do it when the enemies are literally hitting you right there in front of you, because that way you'll guarantee to hit it on the rest of the enemies, the AoE damage that blows up after the boss hits. Because if you do it even just a slight bit farther than that, it won't do it, it won't cover it. And the final ability is Heavy Sand. It's just a little explosion, and the Sand Tornado, as you saw, just grabs enemies around the area and makes them fly around. And then it has a Sand Flight, which you unlock at a certain point too. Next up, we got Chop. Chop, I only recommend it early game. I sadly had at this point because I was doing a showcase for everybody. That's the last skill you unlock, and it's the Fly ability that just lets you fly, because some fruits let you fly, but that's all they do. It's literally one ability specifically just made to let you fly. It doesn't do any damage. None of the fly abilities do damage in the game. And then you got, that's the helicopter. That's the final thing you unlock. I don't recommend this class because it just, the way you level it up and what you unlock as you progress is kind of stupid. Some things should be unlocked earlier, like the fly. Shouldn't be the last ability. The first skill is just a tackle. It just knocks back the enemies. And the good thing is it has a decent cooldown, so it isn't too crazy. You can get your abilities up pretty quick. But the chop is just, yeah, it doesn't make you immune. It's just a normal basic fruit. First skill is a tackle, knocks him back. Second skill is dance. It's just the AoE damage thing that lets you move and control it as you move around the enemies. It's AoE damage. The third one is the same thing, but you're stationary and you gotta hold the button. Same thing with dance to get the most effect out of it so it lasts longer. And that would be it for chop. It's decent early game. I don't really recommend it. Alrighty, next up is the kilo fruit. This is a super easy fruit to obtain, just like spin and chop. You can buy them from the merchant. There's also a separate merchant that you can buy every 2 hours. This is the one I normally buy from. But this is a basic fruit. It's good early. It's decent. Nothing crazy though. It's a good knockback and knockup fruit. So if you want to use a gun class, a separate gun class or whatever, on top of your Blox fruit class, then it's good. So yeah, first skill is stomp, knocks him back a bit. Second skill is just a knockback that covers a pretty good distance. It's also AoE. Everything in this kit is AoE. And then the third skill is just another AoE stomp. It just hits consecutive damage. It does take damage, just consecutive damage. And there's no holding it. You just press it. That's it. So you can do a few little decent combos with this kit. It isn't too bad. The last ability, just like chop, is literally just a fly. Man, the last ability is literally, you could say, the worst fly ability in the game. If you could even say it's a fly. Because really you're just going up with an umbrella, so you're only flying straight up. It does move you forward, but very slowly. I'd say definitely the worst fly. It does take you up pretty fast though, so if you want to go straight up to like a floating island in the clouds or something like that, or get above somebody or something like that, then it's pretty quick, you know, compared to some flies. But that's all it does. It's not really worth it. And that's it for the kilo fruit. Next up, we got the spike class. I think this is a pretty good, solid early game grinder as well. This fruit doesn't even take that much to level up either, and the highest is 75, and it's not too bad. It's pretty fun. It covers a large distance with the first ability you unlock, which you get right off the bat, and then the more you charge it, the more damage it does and the more area it covers. Although you could activate it early, but it won't do as much damage like that. Then the second skill you unlock is going to be Whirlwind. I think this is the worst ability in the kit because you just simply can't. It's a waste of time. Like, by the time you use this ability, it's better you use every other ability first, and then you use the Whirlwind. Because Whirlwind, you hold it, and the longer you hold it, the more damage you'll do. Although you can cancel it earlier by just tapping it once. And then the third ability you unlock is Spiky Ball. This ability is pretty unique compared to others. It basically just lets you turn into a spike ball, just how it says in the name, and you charge forward, and you take whatever enemy you hit that's in your path with you. So they'll keep moving with you as you continue to move forward with the spiky ball, and it'll take as many enemies as possible with you. I bet this skill is best used with multiple enemies against the wall though, because that way you'll constantly be taking damage on them, and it won't just be like a weird dot thing, because you know when you're moving around this stuff, it doesn't like always give you the hit for sure. But if you do it against the wall, it'll guarantee hit. And you can do pretty good combos with this. Combo with the first skill, third skill, and then the second skill, vice versa. You also got the final you unlock at 75, which is a spike barrage. It's basically the same thing as the first one, except it goes in a straight line instead of a circle. And if you charge it, it'll go farther, and I think it does more damage. I'm not too sure. But if you charge it, it's also a charge ability. If you charge it, I'm pretty sure it does go farther. And it has like a final spike that's like taller than the rest of them. It's a pretty good fruit early game, and you could even use it up to second seed more or less if you don't have any other better fruits. It's a pretty decent grind fruit. It's really not bad, especially early game. Next up, we got Flame. That's the first ability, Fire Bullets. I think that's one of the most worthless first skills in the game, because it doesn't do that much damage, and you have to make sure the enemy's right in front of you for you to hit it. Second ability is the Burning Blast, which basically just throws an AoE fireball thing that knocks back the enemies a little bit. And as you saw there, the file column is like another AoE, but it's surrounding you. It's like a little fire tornado around you. That's the third skill. It does decent damage. The final ability is called Flame Destroyer, which is basically summoning a sun and then you throw it in a certain direction and it covers a pretty large area and hits all the enemies. Does pretty good damage. And then the Firefly is just another fly ability. It doesn't do any damage and you just fly with it. It's decent speed, nothing crazy. Kind of slow, to be honest, compared to other ones like the light. I'd say to grind this fruit is a pain because the first skill just doesn't do that much damage. Neither does the second skill. Once you get the third skill, you can kind of do combos and kill enemies a lot easier. But it doesn't do that much great damage, so I don't really recommend it, to be honest. Nothing crazy. Next up, we got one of my favorite. It's one of the most fun that I use, just because of the final skill you unlock. This one's pretty easy to grind, aside from the final skill, which is 110. But I mean, if you're this late in the game like I am, it's pretty easy to get it. It takes you about like half an hour to grind the whole thing. The first skill you got is Possession. This skill just goes through all the enemies. I think on PC you can control it. On console I could control it a little bit, but since it goes so fast, and I think it stops the moment it goes through several enemies. It's like stops in one direction, you can't really turn after that. So it just basically lets you go through the enemy and you do damage to them. It covers a good distance too, so it's technically a dash if you want to use it like that. The second skill is literally just an AoE around you. I thought it would like turn them into zombies and make them fight for you like minions or something, but not really. There's a skill which is called the Resurrection, which is the final skill. This skill literally just turns you into a skeleton the moment you die. I thought this could be infinite, that you could constantly trigger it, but it only works once. So once you activate it once, that's all you use it for. So it's kind of a worthless skill, to be honest, aside from looking goofy as bro, because look at a skeleton, and I have the Tyrannosaurus, I think it is, helmet on it still. So yeah, it looks hella funny. It just turns you into a skeleton, but if you die again, it's not gonna trigger it, even if you activate it, because it's only a one-time use, and then you have to die for it to work again. But yeah, you look like a skeleton. And then the other ability you get, which is the second ability you unlock, is a Fly. I think the grind is a little bit difficult because just like the Flame, the first skill doesn't do too much damage. It does good damage compared to other first skills, but the second skill you unlock is the Fly, which is basically worthless. It should be the third skill, not the second skill you unlock. Because yeah, it's good transportation, but when the only thing you want to level up is your Blox fruit, and then you want to try, you know, grind with it and get it up there, you only do damage with the first skill, so you have to wait for the cooldowns, and the cooldowns are pretty mid. They're not that great. It's pretty high. But then you get the second skill, I mean the third skill, which is the one that actually does damage on top of that as well, and then you actually manage to one-shot enemies depending on your stats and all that. So you can combo the two of them, and you know, it makes up for the two other skills that do no damage, kinda, but at the same time, you know. But it does have a slight Fly. It's a different type of Fly, but it's pretty good. It's kind of hard to grind though, so I recommend it like mid to late game if you want to grind it. Also, real quick, I'd like to mention that if you get into this game later on, during the end of first seed, second seed, and third seed, players will try to kill you right out the bat. There's also hackers, like that guy right there has the light fruit, and he straight up is hitting me when he shouldn't. So there are hackers in this game. There's also people that use a certain mechanic on PC, a website, or whatever, browser, that lets them automatically farm, and they can steal your farm. So it's best to leave the server and find another one that gives you areas where NPCs are available to kill, so you can farm and grind and keep doing your thing, playing the game, because those people just ruin the game, honestly. Then they start to brag about it as if they were good at the game, when in reality they're hacking. That guy just went through the wall right there, as you just saw. He's auto farming. But then there's other hackers that straight up just beat. Look at that, he's clipping through the walls. And basically what the weird little system they got going on does is that it automatically goes to the quest, accepts it, and then teleports them instantly to the monsters it needs to kill, and then that way they automatically farm without even having to do anything. They don't waste their own time. And this is a super famous game, over 3 million likes, and you know, it's pretty sad to see that they haven't done anything about this. So there's a lot of people up there who shouldn't even be at the high level they are, and they can't just grind the game out the right way and they just cheat their way up there. So that dude just automatically, that right there, Samuel, that guy is legit hacking. And yeah, he can also kill you, so if you're like in near his area, he'll detect you as an NPC, so he'll kill you. So it's good to get these people out of the game, because honestly they just ruin it for the rest of us. And they steal our farm. But yeah, just wanted to point that out before I continue. So yeah, clip through the walls, and then, you know, there's all sorts of hackers. And that guy and they be hitting you when they shouldn't too. It's funny. Look at him, he's just floating right there. Literally farming, look. Now the robot's aiming around to see where he's got to go next. Look at that, clipping back to the main quest. He's probably playing as he is activating the thing, because I've seen similar bots that literally just do everything auto. They stand still floating in the sky. They don't even cast an ability or anything, so it's not a fruit. It's just them, you know, hacking in the game. It's funny and kind of sad, honestly, but it's whatever. Just wanted to point that out. Continuing. Alright, for the final fruit of this video, we got the Venom fruit. Save the best for last. First ability, you shoot some Ki Blast. Second one is an aura that you see just popped out. The third ability you unlock is the Fly, which is that one he just did. And then the fourth skill you unlock is a Transformation. I don't have this fruit, so I got somebody else to do the showcase for me. So once you transform, you get a new set of skills entirely. And they're basically the same as the original, they're just a little bit enhanced. The first one was those little balls you saw that he shot from his 3 heads, and then the second one was the big ball, and then the third one is basically the fat AoE that like hits all around them. And then the fourth ability is a Fly, and basically instead of it being the normal fly, the only thing that upgrades it is that it has like 3 heads that follow it, that go with you, and once you're done flying and you cancel the fly, it'll automatically, as you just saw, target the enemies around. So it's definitely a pretty good fruit. Grinding and PvP. And yeah, that's about it for this video. I'm gonna be doing either one other part or 2 other parts to finish off all the other fruits.